So my kids and I were playing a board game. It was a little golfing game, and it had these little marble golf ball things that you push across the table and you try and sink it in the hole. And as we were playing it and talking about, we're like, what other games could we play with this concept? And we came up with the idea of curling. And we're like, oh yeah, we should just set it up. So we were trying to do stuff on the table, and then I was like, you know what? I think we can do better. Let's make ourselves a curling table. Tabletop curling. And the insanity begins. So I have a white sheet of chloroplast that we use for our bee shelters. And I 3D printed some curling stones. I want it to be a scale model. This length was to fit right on top of my game table, which is pretty much 1 foot equals 1 centimeter. And this is what it left in terms of little curling stones. Just little guys. You can really cinder and all that stuff. I can fit 2 side-by-side rinks, this full length. Then on the back side, I'm doing 1 single bigger rink, and it's not going to be to scale in length, but instead I did these rocks here, which is 1 inch to 1 foot. So it's a 1:12 ratio. And so the length won't be equivalent, but I'm gonna make the circles just as big, and it's gonna be more of just a fun arcadey kind of curling rink. Now, with these big curling rocks, it goes over these vinyl stickers really easily, not a problem. And so I'm starting to make my little curling rink holes. They're gonna look sweet with the vinyl cutter, and then also doing some lines. But with these little rocks, it seems to catch those lines a little bit better, well, worse. And so that's a problem. And so I am playing with the idea, and call me nutty, is that on the back side where I'm doing these 2 rinks, I'm gonna make the edges to go around them, put in all the lines, make it all nice and pretty, and then potentially, based on how aggressive and wild I feel, I might do a really thin epoxy layer and try and do it in a way that makes it look like ice. Am I nutty enough to try it? I don't know. Okay, so I've been starting to build out a profile just so it's saved somewhere of the different sizes. So this is the 1.1 inch because the standard curling rock is 1.1 feet. And this is my 1.1 centimeters. And then I have the yellow and red tops for each one. Then I'm working on designing side walls and end walls. I've got to still do the corner walls for it, but these will socket onto the side of this right here to give it a nice clean edge, but it will also act as kind of our wall for the rocks to bounce off of. The bamboo printer is going to town on the side walls there. And then I was gluing tops on to these, and then I've got to clean up these guys, get them nice and smooth and rounded, get these guys cleaned up. Then I put in I think with this one it's a 12mm ball. Yes, and I'm out of those, so I'm waiting for some more to come in, but I can give an example with 11mm ball. The ball will probably drop through the hole, but you drop it in there, it's going to be in the bottom, and it slides. The small mini ones are using these 4.5mm bearings here. That's what makes those ones. And they've been working like a dream. So, very exciting. Okay, so I've got the back line, hog line, the center line on. The T-line I'm not doing yet until I get the rings on, and then that will go over top of the rings so you can still see the different lines. So I'm gonna start putting some rings on, see how it turns out. Alrighty. Those are looking so good. Stoked. Alright, so the back side is coming together. I think it's looking pretty amazing. Excited. Okay, I've got all the stones sanded, cleaned off, ready to go. I haven't glued these guys on yet because I gotta stick the stone inside there, but they are pretty much ready to go. It's looking good. I'm thinking I might print some more, especially of these little guys. I realized I have two runs, and so I'm gonna need at least 16 stones, and I've got 24 stones. And so I'll do red and yellow, but I'm thinking I might even do some other fun colors like blue and green or black or something like that. So we'll see what I end up doing with that. Okay, got the corners mostly, well, the corners are all done and everything fits like a glove. Now just printing that far wall, but yeah, well, that is gonna look awesome. Okay, I'm gluing down one side, but because this side I hand cut, it's just a bit wobbly, so I'm just trying to get everything level at each joint, make sure that they match up, and let the glue set on that side. And it's gonna be good. Alright, so it is coming together. I had one of them not turn out so great, so I've got to print that out. Still got to glue this down, but just wanted to take a look at it, and it looks so good. And then I added the additional optional 4-foot lines from the center there. And I think it just makes it look even classier. It just looks so good. Looks so professional. Okay, so I'm pretty much done this side. I got it all glued, and the nice thing is everything is level. There's not really any give. There's just a tiny bit right there, but that's it. Other than that, it's all pretty solid and flat, so I'm actually really happy with that. And then I'm actually going to be printing some rocks that are just a bit bigger. These have a 4mm ball bearing, 4.5, and I'm printing ones that can fit a 7mm. So it's just got 3-4 millimeters bigger, and just see how that works. So we're doing a test one there. These are really fun, but again, these lines is hard. I'm hoping they'll work good if I can figure out what kind of surface coating finish I want to do on it. But yeah, it's looking great. And then I'm just waiting still on the blue vinyl for the backside to do the bigger rink. Okay, so I've been trying all different kinds of sizes to try and see if it will go over the vinyl very well. So I'll show you this. This one's the smaller one. And then so this one uses a 4.5mm ball, but because it just kept snagging on the vinyl, I went up to a 7mm, and it's better, but it's still not perfect, and it will sometimes do things like that. And obviously I don't have a lid on it, but it will catch and flip over still. Then I went up to a 9mm, and it's not snagging and flipping, but the vinyl will sometimes redirect it. It's not perfect. You see that? It's kind of a weird, it rolls and catches funny still. So it's still this 12mm that seems to work the best with the vinyl. So I think we still need to do the clear coat of some sort. I tried a clear coat over here, and I just used it like Rust-Oleum 2 times clear coat. But what happened is it started pulling the vinyl up from the board, and it gave it a shiny look, but it didn't actually like layer enough, and maybe you need to do multiple coats to get it a thick enough coating that it kind of smooths it out. But I think I need to just do something where I can pour it in and it kind of self-levels, just to get over the vinyl to smooth it out. Which is good that we tested on something like this, and looking online, they're like, oh yeah, don't do that. So that's what helps when you do your research. Okay, super excited. I just got my plastic here, and I am just testing this out, and it looks good.
Awesome!
It's here, Tolson, but take a look at this. We get the pebbling ice look on top, and oh no, I was not filming correctly. Let's try it again here. just goes so nice. Alrighty, so I have now gotten all the plastic cut to fit inside here. Beauty. Because of how it was packaged, it was rolled up, so it wants to warp up a little bit. So I have these here that are going to be kind of these corner, just to hold everything down. But tomorrow I'm going to get some spray adhesive just to do a fine coat along the middle, because I just don't want anything funny happening where it warps or it lifts up. We're having weird bubbles, and so we're going to just get it all adhered down. Then we'll attach these edgings to it all the way around, which hopefully won't take too much away from the actual curling surface, but we'll give it a nice clean finish, because some of the cuts, it's not perfect, but you can kind of see there's just a little bit uneven, so sometimes you get a little bit of gaps there. But if I can fill it in with those pieces, then that should be good. And then I've decided that I'm gonna still have the right size ones, the 1 centimeters, but they're just not super easy to play with. Or these ones are slightly bigger, but they give quite a bit better of a feel to them. There's just a little more weight, heft to them. That's the right word. And so you can actually get them across the rink. But they're just a little bit bigger, but not too big, where these guys are looking amazing. I'm super stoked for how these guys turned out, and they work great, but they are just a little bit big, and so just like 2 or 3 of them kind of dominate the space there, and really made for on the other side. So anyway, you could use them on the side too, but I think these ones with the little 7mm ball bearings are going to be fantastic. Okay, so I got the spray glue that I thought I was going to help put on the bottom here to hold it down. But then as I was looking at it, it said wood, metal, fabric, foam, plastic with an asterisk. And I was like, well, I got a lot of plastic, so I better figure out what that means. Not recommended for use on vinyl materials or polypropylene, which is what this is. Coroplast, I think, is a polypropylene, and I have vinyl stickers on it. And ChatGPT told me this was the right thing. And then I was like, ChatGPT, you said this was good for it? And they're like, oh yeah, no, don't use that. I'm like, great, thanks. But I had it, and I was like, it doesn't say it's anything terrible, it just may not hold super well for a super long time. So I did a test on this, and I'm glad I did, because you can see, because there's these lines here, it fills with this glue, and then it leaves that funny pattern underneath. I'm like, that's not gonna work, I don't want that. So we're ditching this idea, and we went back to just trying to glue down the edges using these corners, and hopefully that's enough. So I've glued them in, and I've just stuck this as weight, these boxes on there, just to try and hold everything in place and see if we can get these to stick well. So I'm just trying to get them to press, but it seems like they're holding well. I'm hopeful. Anyway, and it gives it a nice clean look. I may have to clean up a little bit of that glue look on the edges, but overall I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Alright, I've got this side pretty much done. I've just got a couple boxes just sitting on there, just pressing everything down. Looking awesome. And like, just get a feel for, oh yeah, that icy glint. Woo! Look at those. Obviously, there's not enough room there, but whew, pull it out. There we go. Left-handed. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so it is all done this side, at least mostly. We got all the plastic down, we've got all the trim on, holding it down, and it's looking beautiful. It's not bowing up or bubbling, so that's great. So I didn't have to do the spray adhesive. So yeah, really happy with how it turned out. The last little bit I need to do is, you can see a little bit of glue seeping out around underneath, and so on this one I was able to just scrape and clean it all off. So it dried a little bit, and so I'll just wait a bit and then I'll kind of clean everything up. You can see there's a little bit of goop over the top there, so we'll just get it all cleaned up so it's nice and shiny, beautiful. But yeah, then this one will be completely done. Whoa. Okay, so I finally got the blue vinyl in. Got that cut out and put on there. It is looking so good. So this is the bigger side. So this is 1 foot is 1 inch. So a ring is 12 feet wide in a regular curling rink, and this is 12 inches across diameter. And so this will be a fun one to play with these style, the bigger ones. So this would be a 2-scale model of a rock, which is gonna be sweet. So I got to put the rest of the lines on. I've got to work getting some of these little bubbles out, and then putting lines on, then getting the plastic, which I've cut and it's ready to go. I also have to do kind of a wash down, clean everything up, make sure it's nice before I lay the plastic on top, and I can't clean it again because there's a couple of smudge marks where my dirty mitts have been making a mess. So I'll clean it up and then start laying down the rest of it. Okay, so we got the last part on, but I noticed something. I was just flinging a couple rocks around just to try it on this one end, and the yellow ones felt different than the pink ones. If you take a look at this, 11 grams, pink ones, 14 grams. 3 grams different. May not seem like a lot. That's a decent percentage of the overall weight. And what I noticed is that the yellows, when it would hit the pink ones, wouldn't move as far. When the pink hits the yellow, they'd go flying. And I figured out what happened is that my pink and black rocks I did at a lower layer height, and the red and yellows at a higher layer height. And so it just seems like there's a bit more weight for some reason because of that layer height. Well, those are not super pretty on the bottom, but it changes the weight. So, word of warning, that if you're going to do it, you've got to keep them all the same layer height. So I just know now that black and pink need to play against each other, and red and yellow, and then they're the same weight. Alrighty, all the rocks are done, and the rink is complete. The edge is on. Look at that sheen. There's a little bit of moisture under here that it will eventually evaporate out. There you go. Cleaned it up. And then I'd have a little bit more cleaning up on some of the glue on the edges, but overall, it looks beautiful. Show them, Tolson. Oh, nice. Whoa, that was incredible. Good job, nice. Okay, so that, good job. Yeah, so that rock now gets pulled out. That one, no, that red rock because it hit the wall. Yep, yep, good work. So you put it towards the back. You just put it against the back lane, back. Daddy. Oh, right there. Yep, perfect. Daddy. So I made a vital error. Use that bubble. I used one of these to hold it up, just because I had a little bit of a gap on that side. Anyway, and I made that bubble. So anyway, I'm gonna have to see if I can play with it to try and get it to go down, and I'm hoping just over time it will just go back, but we'll see. Shoot.